Hey guys, what's going on? I've got something to show you guys today. I want to show you how to emulate the leg extension. If you're in a gym that's just a basic home gym, very minimal equipment, we don't have access to a conventional leg extension machine, but if we want to isolate the quads a little bit more. So I've got 3 different versions of this thing that we're going to go over. So the first one is going to put the quad into more of like a stretch position. So this is sometimes referred to as like a reverse Nordic leg curl, sometimes referred to as a natural leg extension. I've seen it referred to as a sissy squat, but I've also seen 10 other things called a sissy squat. But the idea is that we're going to only move through the rectus femoris. So I'm taking a knee, I'm going to take my feet, I'm going to set the ball of my foot down against the mat. From here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tense up my glutes, so I'm keeping my hips directly underneath my shoulders as I move through the motion. All I'm going to do is I'm going to let gravity take me backwards, with my intention being to put my butt against my heels. Now, if you're tight or if you don't have the strength for that, that may not happen right out the gate. So you'll see some people who can immediately fall back and hit the floor on this, and some people who are going to have to take a little bit more of a cautious approach. But what I want to do is, again, glutes are tight, just cross your arms over your chest. You can even load this eventually with a small weight up here if you need to, but you're just going to start going back. You're going to get a lot of length in the quads right here. So I'm going back. Once I get back as far as I can, now I push the ball of my foot into the ground and I come back up. Now you're not going to get a ton of contraction. This is really more focused on that stretch side. So if you're a little bit on the tight side, you might want to warm up into this, maybe add a couch stretch or some other sort of foam rolling for the quads or something before you jump right into this. So again, just use a very controlled negative. Get back as far as you can. Goal is, again, try to get the butt close to the heels, push yourself up, stop right before you hit the top, and then just extend back into your next rep. So there's option number 1. We're going to call that a reverse Nordic leg curl in the description. All right, so the second version is going to be more of a contraction focused one. This one is probably a little bit closer to the feel of a conventional leg extension. The trade-off is it's not a super loadable movement. So this tends to be more beneficial either doing it later in your workouts or just using either a slower pace or more repetitions. So I've got my setup in front of a bench here. I'm going to go down into a plank position. This is called a plank leg extension is what we call this at the gym. So forearms are down. I'm going to put one foot up here and I'm going to scoot back. So my butt and my heel are super close together. I need to get most of this movement coming off of knee extension right down here. So once I've got that one leg up and I'm in a plank, I'm kind of packed in, I'm just going to bring the other foot up. So here's my start position right here. I'm going to drive my feet into the floor or into the bench. It's going to spike my hips up. I'm on the ball of my foot. I'm flexing my quads. I come right back down, trying to put my butt against my heels. So again, the goal is you're not seeing a ton of hip movement. I'm not going forward. I'm just driving down. Hips go up. Butt goes against the heels. Hips go up. Again, really add a hard contraction to the end of the movement. Now, I will give you a little bit of a caution. If you're someone who, let's say anytime you are upside down and then let's say you're doing like a back extension machine or something, if you stand up too fast, if you get lightheaded, you might get a little bit of that for a moment when you come out of this. So my advice would be, if you've just done 20 reps, don't finish it and immediately stand up. Give yourself just a second for your blood pressure to kind of equal itself out. So that's version number 2. All right, so our third version is a little bit more of a compound movement. So it's not truly a leg extension, but it's definitely more towards the isolation side of things. We're gonna load it not with weight, but we're gonna actually band load it. If you've ever done a sissy squat machine, one where it braces you at the ankles and has a pad right behind the upper calf, and then you would sink into a squat. Here, if you've ever seen a sissy squat machine like this, we're gonna try to emulate that just using a squat rack and a really thick resistance band. So you do have to have a squat rack for this, so if your home gym doesn't offer that, I have no idea if you have anything else you can anchor a band this size to. If you got a super heavy desk or something around, I guess you could do it. But otherwise, just be really careful if you set this up. So we're gonna put the band behind our knees. Right there. We're gonna walk back. So I got a good amount of tension on the band. I want the band to have enough tension that I can actually lean backwards into this without worrying about falling backwards. So my goal, if you look at my shins, is I wanna, at a minimum, be at a vertical shin right here, or if I can, I wanna actually have this kind of negative shin angle. Because me just sitting here, my quads are contracting against the load coming off of this band. And I wanna keep that tension fairly constant, because I want to treat this like just a permanent support behind my ankles. So from here, I'm going to put my hands out in front of me to counterbalance myself. I'm just going to squat down and back, trying to preserve that negative shin angle. And then I'm just going to push up right here and flexing the quads really hard at the top. So the goal is to try to stay as upright as you can. So if you do squat down and you feel like you have to fold over like this, it may not be a terrible idea to use a small weight out in front of you to kind of function like a counterbalance. But again, we just want to come down and then just push up and flex the quads. So again, kind of like with the plank leg extension, it does benefit from a little bit of a higher rep count. Focus on the contraction, so either put it later in the workout or just really slow your tempo down. I like to do reps of like 20 to 30 on that one and just kind of crank a ton of blood into the quads. So give these a shot if you've been needing something for your home gym to give you something besides your basic squats and lunges. Let me know what you think. Throw a comment down below and make sure you subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you guys next time.